Hey, welcome to Tug Time, guys. So it's a little different. We're not live, right? This is recorded, so if I say, we can bleep that out. That's great, right? So hopefully we're still going to do some of the things all the same. We're going to hopefully still have it informative and somewhat funny. We'll see, that's on me. Probably not. And then last, we're still going to do the gift card. We're going to do a little different. We're going to have the question of the day within the video. Stay tuned to the end for that. And then there's also going to be some little notes saying when to have it in by. So have that answer in. You can watch this video, obviously, at any of your leisure. But let's get started. Today, we're doing a little Frymaster. We're going to show you guys how to filter your Frymaster Fryer. All right, so welcome. Today we're doing some filtering with this Frymaster H55 fryer. It has a built-in filtration system. We will also show you, if you happen to have a portable filter, about what those steps would be. So the first step to filtering a fryer is turn the fryer off. If you're in service, you can leave one on if you have this double pot. If you're not and you're doing it later, you can turn both of them off. All right, so let's say this is the first time we have this fryer, or the first time we're setting up the filter at least. So we're going to go ahead and open the doors. I already had that one open. You're going to pull out this, and hopefully it looks a lot better than this, because this is a 7-year-old fryer, remember. So these are the parts that are going to be in here. We have the screen, we have the weight, and we have a little kind of a filter mat down on the bottom there, okay? So when you get it from the factory, it might still have a little bit of oil in the bottom. That's just fine. They actually test the fryers. But I would go ahead and wipe out whatever little bit you can that is left in there. They're just making sure that, once again, that it's tested and fine and everything's working fine. So go ahead and grab some disposable rags and kind of sop up whatever might be in there and wipe it out. In the past, we would tell you to grab the filter paper that comes with it. You get paper and powder. Make sure it's the right paper size when you are reordering. There are different sizes. Good little note there for you, okay? So in the past, we used to tell you, go ahead and take this and put it on down in there, and then try to take this weight and put that in there without having any of this paper fold and not make a good seal. That's not what we do anymore. Got a little something special for you, okay? Maybe, let's just call it a Tug Time tip. Go ahead, put the paper down, grab the weight, put the weight on the paper. This is easy, isn't it? We're going to go ahead and grab that paper and weight and put it down in. All right, making a good seal, easy, didn't have to fight with it. Next, we're going to grab that Filter Magic filter powder. It is diatomaceous earth. Let's shake her down a little bit. You'll see how light and snowy it is in a second. Try not to breathe it too much or have the plastic go into there. That would not be good. So we're going to take that. We're going to just dump it anywhere. It does not matter. It doesn't have to be, it can all be in one spot. It can be spread out. It does not matter as long as it's in there. That's what we need, okay? So do that. Then we're going to grab the screen last, put that in, and put that in. We're ready to go. All right, so once you have that paper and powder in, make sure that you close that all the way so that makes a good seal. And come on up here and get ready. Make sure you have your brushes and tools that we talked about earlier. And get the baskets out of the way. If you want, you can get them all the way out of the way. Grab a pair of tongs if you want to. Go ahead and feel free to wear your heat-resistant gloves. It's always a good idea for safety reasons. Let's get this out of the way. Sometimes I'll use a sheet pan to have, but for now we'll just put it in the other side. Okay? So grab your brush and be ready with that. There we are. So what we're going to do, first step is, if there's anything up here, we're going to try to kind of brush it down into that oil, right, if there's any of the little bits and pieces of fries or whatnot. Now the next step is we're going to open up this drain. That's this red lever right here. In the beginning, go ahead and open it a little slowly, just to make sure, A, that we have everything in right, there's nothing splashing out, because oil in there is much easier than oil on the ground. Then you go ahead and open that on up once we're there. And as you can see, it's going to start to drain out. Right? Now's a great time to go ahead and brush and try to get rid of those little pieces of sediment and floaters and whatever else, right? We're going to put that down into that. Once we get down to this point, I tend to start to turn the pump on. That's this yellow one here. By doing that with some oil in, what we're doing is we're recycling this oil. So we call it polishing. So you'll see that it's actually kind of flowing down there. I don't know if you can see that. There we go. Ooh. So we're going to let that go for a couple, 5, 10 seconds, somewhere around there. Right now, really for the most part, your filtering is done. I mean, it's nothing that is difficult. Some might say it's easier than a pig playing ice hockey. But at this point, we're going to go ahead and close the drain. That's the red lever again. And now, wait for it to fill. You'll start to see here in a little bit, they'll see some bubbles coming up. Bubbles are good, that's what we want, okay? So with the bubbles, we're gonna let that run a bit. What that is doing is that pump is trying to suck every last little bit of that grease back up into the fryer. We let that run for another 5 to 10 seconds, somewhere around there. And then we come on back down to that pump, it's that yellow one, and we turn it off. We are now done with filtering. You can go right back to frying. You can do this, you need to do it at least once a day, but do it as many times a day as you would like. As you see, it takes just a couple of minutes. All right, now that we're done filtering, say it's the end of the night, say it's the first time that you've actually pulled this and you're certain dirty, but remember, we need to change it once a day, but we can filter multiple times on that same paper and powder. We don't have to reset this, okay? So now that we're off and whatnot and all the oil's back up, we're gonna pull this out. You'll get to see all the funness that just was filtered. I always have towel and gloves right here. This is when I'll put on gloves, even though it's bulky for the camera. It's gonna be safe for me, which is way more important than the camera. All right, so as you can see, we have a couple areas where oil might drip. That's what this is for. You can kind of shove that in. And remember, the oil is obviously hot, so be careful. All right, and then we're gonna slide this all the way out. Okay, so once that's in, have your trash can nearby. You can take this, we're gonna dump this directly into the trash can, get rid of all of that sediment as best you can, all right? It doesn't have to win any beauty pageants. It's all right to have a little bit left in there, okay? Now, on this is the weight for the paper, right? Remember? So we're gonna take that up, kind of shake it off as best we can. Perfect. All right, get that out of the way to over here. Okay, so now we have this piece of paper down here, right? Remember the paper and powder we put in? The best thing to do is to try to keep whatever's in the middle. You don't want any of those little pieces, as much as you can at least, to go outside of the paper. So we're going to try to wrap it up that way. And the reason I'm wearing these gloves is this paper is obviously hot because it was hot oil. Okay, so have the trash can ready. So at this point, you can take disposable paper towels, things like that, and kind of wipe out. I think I'm about to be handed some. Magic of TV. All right, so maybe a little bit more would have been better, but that's okay. We're just showing you guys. So you kind of give a wipe out. There should be a little bit less oil than what we had there, but you know, we're in a rush. Once we're done with that, we do the same thing we did before. We go ahead and put the paper down. We put the paper down the table. We put the weight on it, put it in here, put the powder on, put the screen back, shove it in. You're good to go for tomorrow.